Hello, Tobimaro here. We are talking about Moonbeast's new game, Diablo creators' new ARPG. We went through itemization, we went through the general feeling of the game and general features on the two previous videos. Now I'm going to talk about the other stuff that Peter Hugh posted on the Reddit, on the official Reddit. And they talk about replayability and skill trees and everything like that. So today's video will be about that. So let's start to read about this. 10, play game. 20, go to 10. What does replayability mean to you? What are some of the games that you can play over and over again for years on end? Why is replayability even important? I think it's because it lets us take something we enjoy and just keep enjoying it. Not a lot of downsides, right? Yeah. For me, puzzle games, Sudoku, Picross, crosswords, and strategy games, Risk, Civ, always scratch the itch. In the past, I've spent countless hours playing older strategy games, Empire Deluxe, Master of Orion, Master of Magic, Warcraft 2, 3, StarCraft XCOM, as well as roguelikes, Attack, Larn, Rogue, Mori, and a host of others. However, some people can sit in front of the same slot machine every day for 20 years. Others get a repeated enjoyment from perfecting a particular skill, whether speedrunning, modern day equivalent of going for the high score on a game in the arcade, playing competitively from chess to Street Fighter to Dota, the act of creation, Minecraft, Factorio, or socialization, Animal Crossing, Among Us. Clearly, we find replayability in all sorts of ways, and everyone has different games that work for them. That is very true. There are also great games that don't end up being all that replayable. For me, a lot of RPGs fall under that category. It's my favorite genre of games, not surprisingly, since I'm a big D&D nerd, but very few of them have had a high degree of replayability. And that's a crying shame, because so very many have been truly great. The number of RPGs I've played through is probably in the high hundreds. Diablo changed that for me, and no wonder. After all, David Breivik's inspiration for it was the old roguelike Moria. Diablo made me drop everything I was doing and sign up to work on the sequel at Blizzard North at 1/3 of my former salary. Okay, that's passion. The Diablo games strive to be something that most RPGs don't. They combine adrenaline-inducing action with strategy and tactics, with character progression, with loot acquisition, with randomized environments, with socialization. Shine it all up with traditional Blizzard polish, and that's a lot of checkboxes, and the result is pretty magic. Yeah, I would say so. Except Diablo 4. However, a lot of these elements have to work together for it all to work. An RPG with little to no socialization, limited loot game, and barely randomized dungeons doesn't advance the genre. And I'm really not talking about a specific game here. This applies to a ton of modern ARPGs. In the chase for the higher fidelity graphics, there's been a disturbing trend towards larger and larger set pieces and less procedural generation. The stories have gotten much more complex, and the lines of NPC dialogue have skyrocketed. And no one reads them. That's the thing. Who reads NPC dialogue on ARPGs aside from the campaign? Like play it like the first time you play the campaign, and then you skip all that. So it would be better not to have them. Like disable all text. It would be fun to play like that. But none of that has added to replayability, and all of it has pushed the genre more and more towards traditional RPGs. It feels like the magic is being lost. They have to confess, we started that trend in Diablo 2. Larger set pieces, more NPCs, more dialogue, more story. It's cool if you like all that, I do too, but there are hundreds of games that do that better. Baldur's Gate 3, for example, but only a couple of ARPGs get released each year, and I want them to have the Diablo magic, damn it. I want something replayable forever. Whether or not you actually do replay it forever is up to you. But every time you sit down and play, whether an hour has passed or a year, it should be fun. Yeah, it makes sense. So I really enjoyed Diablo 2 story and Diablo 1 as well. When I played those games for the first time when I was a kid, I loved the story. I was reading every piece of dialogue. I wanted to know what Sanctuary is, what Tyrael is doing, what Mephisto is planning, everything. I wanted to know everything and the lore around it. I think that's good to have lore around the game, but for the replayability of it, I don't think it's necessary. So I think you should have like a solid campaign and solid lore and solid reasons for things to happen in the game. So they feel connected to the world, and they are not just simple mechanics, if you know what I mean. But for replaying the game, after I finish campaign, I'll go to a higher difficulty. Now I want to skip all of it. I just want to go through that as fast as possible. I want to kill monsters. I want to get loot. I don't want to talk to NPCs. So yeah, one thing that I think adds a lot of replayability are seasons. Seasonal themes on Diablo 3 and Path of Exile are good examples of reasons to replay the same game with a twist on it. And if this game will have mods, it's even easier to do that because you can just replay the game with a mod that makes every monster a loot goblin. I don't know. You can replay it with different rules, with different game modes, with different terrain manipulation skills, without terrain manipulation. So yeah, modding will be a big part of it, but I think seasonal content is really important for a game to be replayable. Also, hardcore is another way to make the game replayable. I've died more than 10 times on World of Warcraft hardcore servers, and I'm still making new characters. I'm still replaying the same game because it's fun. It's fun to play the leveling part. So if the leveling part is fun, people will replay it. If the people will need to go through like 7 hours to reach endgame and only on the endgame they start to have fun, they won't want to replay it. That's too hard. So make it fun from the get-go. So you start the game, you have fun from level 1 to level 100 and the end game. That's important. And have random stuff happening, like have random events that will change how things happen, like make a boss that kills you out of nowhere because you were not prepared. I don't know. This time around, we want to get to the root of the genre. What makes it tick? How often do you build an infinitively player ARPG? Here are some ideas off the top of my head. The best optimization system ever. See my other articles? Yeah, we just went through them. A system that never gets boring, it doesn't rely on plus one of the same mechanics. Phenomenal combat feel, perfectly responsive controls. We've architected a completely novel network architecture just to reduce latency in RPGs. That's promising. Hope they can achieve that. Skill systems designed for fast action, not watching dials and icons on your hotbar. Yeah, please. I think some cooldowns. You can have some cooldowns. I think we can talk about that later. But the skills that you are using, you should not be waiting for them. You should be just clicking buttons every time, destroying monsters. Maybe you can have an ultimate or something, or an ability that changes a lot of your surroundings, like every 5 minutes, so you don't spam it. But the majority of your gameplay should be fast and immediate. Boss fights that are varied, interesting, and tactical, yes, that's really important. And I think it's essential for them to have visual indications, so you can see that they are going to attack on that area. They will have an AoE, they will have damage over time, that you can see every status effect that they provoke on you. You have the necessary tooltips to see what's happening. I think that's really important. Fine-grained procedural generation instead of large set pieces. Environments that will surprise you even after playing through thousands of times. Yeah, like Minecraft. Every new game with a new seed, it's a new experience, right? You can start on an island, you can start in a volcano. It will make the game more fun for sure. And even for speedrunners, they will try to find that perfect seeds so they can beat the game faster. Customizable skills and character progression that enable enormous number of builds, a rich and varied trade system. Why stop at hardcore? There are myriad variants we can support. Yeah, you can have hardcore, you can have like ruthless, like PoE, you can have like solo self-found, you can have, I don't know, PvP in the mix of every trait that you can find. Um, yeah, recognition that complexity doesn't equal death and doesn't equal good. That's for sure. I want a simple game that I can easily understand. I don't want to have a spreadsheet open to know what my skills do. Please. I want the tooltips to give me everything that I know. Please do that. Systems should be intuitive and easy to understand at a glance. Yes, they should. If you give players just 2 meaningful choices per level, over 20 levels, you end up with over 1 million different meaningful combinations. Giving players 10 meaningless choices per level over 20 levels results in just one meaningful combination. Yes, that's true. Social when you want it, how you want it, play by yourself, with your friends, or with the world. Mechanics that recognize that there's a fundamental difference in how players want to play when adventuring with their mates versus interacting with everyone else. Just because you're walking around in an MMO with thousands of players doesn't mean you can't be lonely. Social doesn't mean there are players around. Opportunities either cooperate or compete, but not trying to force players to do so. Yeah, so there's many types of players, and the same player wants different things. So I enjoyed playing New World with my friends, and we were leveling up together. That was fun. But I enjoy playing Diablo 4 by myself, solo self-found, not interacting with anyone. And on World of Warcraft, I play it by myself, but I find people in the world, and we quest together, and we chat, we ask, where are you from? How's the weather? Those are like little interactions that happen just naturally on the game. So if you could have all of that, it would be incredible. Like if I can make a server with just my friends and the game scales to that, to just 3 people, or scales to like 100 people, it would be great as well. Imagine that you have like 3 spawn points on a big map, and players randomly, when you create a character, you randomly are assigned to one of those spawn points and to a faction. And the game is just like territory control. Can you imagine that? PvP like game where you try to have as much control over it as possible, and you like strategize and fight each other and fight monsters and place flags on top of mountains to claim that land as yours. I'm dreaming now, but if you can make that with this game, it will be incredible. Customize difficulty that works whether you want to chill out after work or sweat fear buckets. Yes, that's important. Um, so if I'm working and I want to I get home and I just have 1 hour, I'll just farm something. Let's just farm a trinket or some earrings from that boss. I'll do a couple of runs and I'm done for today. But then I have vacation and I can spend 2 weeks without doing anything else other than play the game. And I want to compete for world first boss kill or world first level 100 on official servers. And I want to do that as well. So, yeah. Respect for the player's time and intelligence. Nothing in the game is designed to simply waste your time. That's good to know. So please don't make removing cinders from equipment or unsocketing items paid. I want them to be free, and respecting costs, please just let it be free. The most single thing I hate about PoE is the respect costs. If you mistakenly do something bad on your build and you are not rich yet, the character is dead. And even so, if it's too low of a price to pay to respec, why not just be free and it enables experimentation? And have an armories that you can change between different builds and be like a sandbox game. Yeah, that would be great. Nothing in the game is designed to make you spend more money. Oh, that's a big one. Almost no games do this nowadays. And the thing that I miss the most about the old games is that they were not trying to to get your wallet. Aside from buying the game. Nothing in the game is designed to increase some arbitrary KPI. Okay. I might miss something. If so, let me know in the comments. Easy, right? Notice that story isn't on there. That doesn't mean we won't have a rich setting with a complete tapestry of history and culture, conflict and catastrophe and triumphs. But that's not the focus of the gameplay. So what drives you forward other than leveling up and getting more loot and exploring next area and beating the next box? Something new and you think much more replayable. I hinted at it above. Can you guess what it is? I don't know. What drives you forward? Something new and much more replayable. So different maps, right? If every world is different, you have different servers with different rules. If you have different objectives, different ways to compete, different game modes. Yeah, I think the sky is the limit there. Okay, now about skill trees. First off, let me preface this post by saying that this is just a very preliminary skill system that's under consideration. We very well might not go in this direction, but I wanted to share it with you to hopefully get some feedback. Okay? Axioms. No giant web of mostly passive skills. We tried this in Hellgate London, inspired by one of the Final Fantasy games. Please forgive me for forgetting which one. It's Final Fantasy X, Sphere Grid. But it's too complicated for the benefits. Yeah, that's what PoE does. It has a huge web of passive skills and nodes and stuff you can enter there. Yeah, I really like the system in Final Fantasy X, but that's a single player game and that's the focus of it. You have class based. You can make your own class, but there's always an optimal path towards the web. I kind of like the web, but I think nowadays it's too complex. I think it would work if it was simple. So if you had like a tree, but you would go into you make some choices. Like I'm going into the cleric tree, so I'll be having passives for healing, or I'll go to the berserker tree, so I'll have more physical damage. And you make those clear build defining choices on a single tree, but that's all available to you if you want. And if you want to respec, okay, I don't want to be a cleric, I want to be a barbarian. Those points that I put there, I'll put on the other side. I think that can work. But yeah, I don't know what I'm talking about. Skill levels are cool because plus skill levels and items are cool. Takes bow. I don't know. Are they really that cool? Plus skill levels? I don't know. Maybe. I don't have an opinion on that. If you feel it, like, I think plus skill levels should give you a different feel when you level them up. Not just make more damage, make them do more damage, but like a fireball gets bigger, or the crits more often, or not. I don't think skill levels are cool if it's just higher base damage of the skill. That I don't think it's cool. If the skill levels increase other aspects of the skill itself, like less cooldown or more area, I think if that happens, then it's cool. That's what I mean. If it's just plus one skill level, it does 10% more damage. I think that's just boring. You might as well just put 10% more physical damage or fire damage on an item. Skill books from Muji Diablo are also cool, but need to be retaught for new context. Yeah, I don't even remember how they worked. You find them, right? They dropped and you learn the skill. Or you use them. I don't remember, so long ago. Skill trees are cool though. They give some level of guidance to new players and are great organizationally, and they enable things like plus skills in 3. Okay, Diablo 2 system where you often spend 20 levels putting points into the same skill is not cool. Yeah, that's another thing, that if you are just pumping numbers, it's not cool. If you are modifying the skills in some way, when you level them up, that's cool. And you might want to, like, imagine a fireball. You might want to choose between more area of effect, or casting speed, for example, or number of projectiles that are that shoot from your wand, and you can craft your own skill like that. I think that's cool on a skill tree to have. Diablo 2 system of skill runes is cool, not to be named runes though. We want you to make one meaningful decision about skills each time you level up. Yeah, but if I don't like it, I want to respect. I want to experiment every single level. I want to do that. Please allow me to do that and not have to spend a lot of gold to respec. It's not less meaningful. I will be playing more of the game if you allow me to play with fireball that shoots 2 balls, or playing with fireball that does more crit damage, or playing with fireball that gives me a buff. I want to experiment and play differently while I level up, and not be forced into a direction that I made and that I will regret in the future. It's perfectly okay for some classes to be weapon dependent and other classes not to be. Yeah, think so. Cooldowns are generally not cool. The team isn't unanimous about this, but my stance is firm. Yeah, I think generally they are not cool, but I think for certain special skills you might have them. But I don't think cooldown reduction is a good stat to have on a game. So if you make an ultimate that you, well, even then, if you have an ultimate type of skills, maybe time is not the best thing. Maybe some kind of rage, like every monster you kill fills up a bar. When the bar gets max, you can unleash hell over your enemies or something like that. Maybe that's better than every 10 minutes you get to use a skill. Yeah. I think you should be able to work around that. And maybe you can farm a lot of monsters, save up all that rage, and then go to the boss and unleash your ultimate on them and kill them immediately. That's cool. Mana potions are not cool. I don't think health potions are cool either. Potions are just so outdated. Why not just have abilities that heal yourself? Being able to quick cast skills from your hotbar is a no-brainer. What the fuck were you thinking? Yeah, on Diablo 2 it was really hard. A balance must be struck with regards to respec. I don't know why so many developers think this. What's the balance with respec? Let people respect all they want, all day long. Experiment all the skills. I'll spend one day just trying every skill in the character. However, Diablo 3 armor is pretty cool. Yes, armor is really good. Let me just have different specs, save them on slots, and use when I want. What I think the balance should be is, if you enter a map, you can change, you can swap builds on the middle of it. So you are committed on the content that you are doing. You can't just go, oh, this monster is fire resistance, let me put my fire penetration weapon. This one is ice resistance, let me pull up my ice penetration weapon, and cycle through these while you are fighting. I think the commitment of the build should be before you enter combat. But if you're out of combat, or maybe you can only change it in town, so those problems don't exist. This list is just one off the top of my head. Let me know if I left anything out. Plan of new skill system. Every class has 3 trees. So that's like World of Warcraft. Yeah, I think that works. Each tree has 10, 12 main skills, which main skill having 4, 6 options. Okay, I think you don't need many main skills if they can be. I prefer like 6 main skills and each one of them having 10 options. But that's just a personal opinion. Every tree has one movement ability that's not a skill and doesn't require investment. Yeah, I think every RPG needs to have a dodge or a roll animation. That is incredible. Over the course of 99 levels, you get 13 main skill unlocks and 88 option points. Once a main skill is unlocked, it gains levels automatically. According to a schedule or formula, it depends on various factors up to maximum level 20. Okay, so you don't need to spend points on it. But I think you should spend points on like a passive that changes the skill. I don't know. Spend option points to buy options of a skill that has been unlocked. Different options may have different ranks, but max rank is 5. Yeah, that's what I was saying. A rank is an option most often costs 1 point, but some may cost more. These are somewhat analogous to Diablo 3 skill runes or Last Epoch specializations, but simplified. Yeah, Last Epoch does a good job with it. Choose a tree along with your class at character creation, which determines your starting main skill. Why? Just let me respec. What if I don't like my first skill? Do I need to create a new character? At level 12 and 24, you unlock another tree. You may pay an additional cost, possibly an option point, to multi-class. Unlock another class skill tree. It's possible that a further penalty to multi-classing is reduced main skill auto-leveling speed, but this may well not be required to maintain balance for reasons outlined below. Every tree has skills that make it very obvious that the character has taken the tree. For example, dual wielding X is a visual indicator that the character has taken the destroyer tree, no matter what their base class is. I think this is very important. You need to see what that character does immediately. Items can give plus level to a main skill that you already have, plus level to all main skills in a tree, plus level to all main skills for all trees for a class, which counterbalances multi-classing and may allow the penalties for multi-classing discussed above to be minimized, or rarely plus level to all main skills. Edit, they might also give plus level to all skills in a subclass multi-class set, but that feels like an expansion thing. Okay, so the thing about this game that I feel like that you will be able to have 2 classes, right? You have, or three classes, because you have three trees. So you can be like a cleric, that's a barbarian, that's a bard or something, and have skills from all of that. Or just focus on one and just be a priest, maybe. Items can unlock an option at a specific level for a main skill you already have. Okay, rarely items can grant you a main skill, and sometimes option you don't have a fixed level. Shrines might grant you the same for a period of time. Okay, you can find skill books, each of a specific skill that grant you a permanent point to a skill you already have. They have an increasing stat requirement to read for each book that you've ever read. A filter of Lethic can wipe out these bonuses. These bonuses are not otherwise subject to respec, and thus are a significant deterrent. I don't know about that. I need to see that, to play that, to see how it feels. Not convinced though. Otherwise, you can gain respec via quest or crafting. When you do respec, you can choose to imprint your skill loadout into something like an armory, allowing you to switch back and forth without having to respec again. Okay, but can I then go to my previous loadout and change the skill, or it's fixed forever because I respect? I would like to have freedom to respec completely and save each respec that I make into a save slot or an armory slot. Skills are broadly categorized as active skills, which are intended to slot into either the left or right mouse buttons and cost very little, if any, mana, as bombs, which cost significant mana and are intended to slot into the hotbar, or passives, which are intended to be kept in a passive bar. Okay, makes sense. In general, 3 should have 3 active skills, with the rest being bombs. Passive skills are generally attained via options. So it would be like 5 skills, right? That's general outline. Questions, comments, greatly appreciate it. Yeah, I like the way they are going, except for the respect costs that they insist on being a thing. Um, and I hope it's easy to make. And I like the options of having different skills from different trees. Yeah, let's wait and see. So about shards and seasons and shards meet seasons shards. How many of you remember the race between Gerbarb and Rustbarb for the top of classic Diablo 2 EU ladder? Well, I don't. Um, I was playing D2 single player or with in line with my friends. Maybe at that time, I I didn't know about competition in ladder. We've gotten a few questions about how we plan on handling seasons. Ever since Diablo 2, many popular online ARPGs have followed season model as a way to reset leaderboards. The economy and to introduce what generally been a small amount of new content to hopefully entice players back. And it works, if it has more content. When I first came up with the concept of a season in Diablo 2 post LOD, I devised it as a quick and dirty way to reset the ladder and the economy after the initial plague of duped and decked items. Yeah, that's what New World did with new fresh servers as well. That's a common common thing. I had a day or two on my schedule to implement something, so it had to be real simple. At the time, I had zero clue that it would become an enduring concept that would make its way into other games. And if you had told me that that would be the case, I would have scoffed. Even as I was writing the code for it, it felt like a total hack. This time around, we don't really want to do a seasons in traditional sense, but as with everything, we still want to be careful to both understand how they work and to preserve the good elements. So what's the plan? First off, in keeping with our mod-friendly spirit, we're going to let players create and define their own servers, also known as shards. The idea of shards will be tightly coupled with and explained by our setting. This will work in some ways like how you'd create games in Diablo 2, though not at such high frequency. You can create a small private shard just for yourself and your friends, or you can, assuming you attend the requisite privileges, create a large open shard that could potentially support thousands of players. Okay, this thousands of players is really enticing. Can I make my own MMO server? Oh man, I can only imagine an MMO ARPG. Each shard is its own world and an enduring thing, much like an MMO server, with the ability to support extended gameplay for years via respawn, instance dungeons, physical expansion of world area, or any number of other methods. Great. When creating your shard, you can set any number of options for it. Want a full PvP open world? Hardcore only? Ultra high difficulty? List it open or keep it private? Allow character import from a restricted set of other shards? Check, 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 check. I imagine the options will only increase with time. I hope so. But these options are already cool to imagine. As you might expect, we'll create and manage a set of official public shards for a lot of people. This will probably be the place to be. Your rankings on the leaderboards, there will be your official ones. So there will be leaderboards. I hope they can make a competitive game out of it. And with leaderboards, they can certainly do that, and with world firsts and stuff like that. But what about seasons? Aren't they available as a way to bring back players or resetting ladders and the economy? The beauty of making a moddable ARPG from the ground up is that all those tools that we build to mod the game will give us unprecedented power to make content ourselves quickly. That was why I spent so much time in the early days of Diablo 2 changing the infrastructure from being mostly hard-coded to being far more data-driven. Because new expansions and large content drops do more to bring players back than anything, and depending on the needs of the game, we can easily choose to spin up new shards to highlight these changes and to reset the economy and spur a new race to the top of a new leaderboard. That makes sense? What about old shards though? Is it going to be an issue if too many people migrate off of them to go to new shards with new content? Doesn't this have the potential of splitting player base too much? Yeah, it kind of does, but you can always I don't know, merge shards, right? If you have a lot of old shards with low population, you merge them into a single big one, and people are happy. First off, it doesn't actually take a lot of people to create a viable community, maybe a few thousand. Density is an issue, but remember, this is a game that supports live, large-scale terraforming. We can shrink land just as easily as we can grow it. But there are maybe even cooler ways to handle the situation. What did they call it in The Witcher? The conjunction of spheres? What if shards could collide? Wouldn't that be a killer world event? What if some players could choose to oppose it, whilst others try to help it along? It all sounds pretty fun to me. Yeah, for that, I think the players should know beforehand that their shard can be destroyed or can collide with another. Not just playing for a while. I played in this shard for a year, and then there's an event, and they will collide with another. I think the expectations should be set quite early of what can happen with shards. But yeah, I think with shards, I think they can do a lot of stuff. First, they can have like the big servers, official ones. And when they release more content, they do a fresh start server, for example. And people start fresh. They have the race to first. They have the leaderboards, and after a while, they can merge those shards with the old ones, or they can have both. They can have new shards that are only new, and they won't be merged with with the old ones, and shards that will never be merged, or can only be merged between fresh start shards themselves. Yeah, there's lots of flexibility with the way they are implementing shards, and I think they should let the players as well create, like, think it's PoE. The community can create a new league anytime they want. So if I have my community, I can bring my friends and let's race to kill the first boss, or to level 100 on a shard, and make it difficult or make it easier depending on who is playing. So yeah, and I think leaderboard should also be moddable and configurable by server as well. Yeah, this is good. I think the way they are structuring the shard system, it will make or break the game, because it's really tied with modding. And let's see how it works, because I'm having trouble seeing how a game can host thousands of players in a single world, but can also be played by two people via local gameplay, couch co-op or something. How can you design the game to be so dynamic? That's quite a challenge, right? Because creating an MMO is different than creating a single player RPG experience. The mobs, the progression system, it's all different, the economy. But yeah, let's wait and see. I have some doubts, but I think they are really ambitious with their philosophy and the way that they want to make the game. So I want to play it. And if you are liking this kind of content about the unannounced game from Moonbeast, let me know in the comments, and like the video and subscribe my channel. Also, Moonbeast, if you are hearing me, please give us a code name or something, so we can call the game. Just not to be called it Moonbeast's Unannounced Game, like Gloomcraft or Gloom Rising. Codename Gloom Rising. Can I call it that? Yeah. So until next time, peace.